Hello, Chem Fam. We're going to go over some half-life problems just to make sure you get some support. I'm going to start with number 3 from our worksheet, and let's get going. 64 gram sample of germanium-66 is left undisturbed for 12 and a half hours. At the end of that period, only 2 grams remain. What is the half-life of this material? So we're looking for a time frame of how long each individual half-life is for this material. So let's get started with our chart. All right, I've got the number of half-lives, I've got the object's mass, and I've got the time frame, which looks like hours. We know that in half-life problems, 0 half-lives means 0 time gone by. And we know that only 2 grams remain, even though you started with 64 grams. Okay, so we know at the very bottom here somewhere it was 12 and a half hours have gone by. But we know we end up with 2 grams of material. So let's start going through each half-life. After 1 half-life, there'd be 32 grams left, right? Because 1 half-life means half the material's gone. After 2 half-lives, you'd only have 16 grams left. Cut it in half once again, 32 divided by 2. After 3 half-lives, you've had 8 grams left. 4 half-lives, you'd have 8 divided by 2 is 4 grams. And after 5 half-lives, you would finally have 2 grams left. All right, and we know from up here that it took 12 and a half hours to do that. So let's write that in. It took 12.5 hours to do that. The question that we were asked was, what is the half-life? That means how long is 1 half-life? Well, if in 12 and a half hours it went through 5 half-lives, it's simple. If we take 12 and a half hours and divide it by 5, throw that in your calculator, you end up getting 2.5 hours. That means that 1 half-life actually takes 2.5 hours. That would be the answer. Now you don't believe it, add them up. 2.5 hours plus 2.5 hours is 5 hours. 5 hours plus 2.5 again is 7.5. 7.5 plus 2.5 again gives you 10 hours. And 10 plus 2.5 hours gives you 12.5. We're back to the original number we were given. So it's set. 2.5 hours is the length of the half-life for this specific isotope, germanium-66. Alright, Chem Fam, let's look at question number 4 here. With a half-life of 28.8 years, okay, that's the length of time it takes for half the material to go away every 28.8 years. We want to know how long it will take. So how many years for 1 gram of strontium-90 to decay into 125 milligrams. Now, since this is in grams and this is in milligrams, we need to get these units into the same type. So we know King Harold died by drinking chocolate milk. If I'm in grams, I'm starting at the base, and to get to milli, I go 1, 2, 3 to the right. So that means 1 gram is really 1, 2, 3. Is really 1,000 milligrams. Now that I have that quick conversion, I can start my work. Let me erase this and we'll get going. Alright, game time. I'm going to start with the number of half-lives. I'm going to start with my mass. And my time frame looks like it's years. So I'm going to start with my time in years. Now I always know I start with 0 half-lives and no time has gone by. And it looks like I started with, from my conversions, 1,000 milligrams. It looks like I need to know how long it will take. So how many years down here we're looking for. So that's okay. After 1 half-life, I know I went through 500 milligrams. Eventually I need to get down to 125. So I'm going to keep going. After 2 half-lives, I'm left with 250 milligrams. After 3 half-lives, I'm left with 125 milligrams. And, oh, there I am. That's exactly what I was looking for. Now I just need to figure out how long it took. Well, each half-life is 28.8 years. So after 1 half-life, 28.8 years has gone by. If I throw in my calculator another 28.8 years, 57.6 years has gone by with another half-life. If I throw in another 28.8 years in my calculator, it's 86.4 years have gone by. So that means in order for this 1,000 milligram object, which is strontium 90, for that to decrease down and decay so that only 125 milligrams was left, I went through 1, 2, 3 half-lives. And since each half-life is 28.8 years, it took a total of 86.4 years. So I was looking for the question and answer of how long will it take? The answer is 86.4 years. All right, thanks for listening, JChem. Hope this was helpful. Keep cruising along with that so that you can try to get better at understanding half-lives. Have a great day.